What is up? What is up? What is up? I know we're a little bit late today. I know we're a little bit late. My co host is having technical difficulties, and she said that it was okay to make fun of her. So I'm going to make sure that I do that. But we also have a special guest in the building today, and I'm going to introduce him shortly in a minute. But I got to talk about my merchandise. I got to talk about my merch. Hey, look, I have a limited edition, and I'm going to say that it's limited edition because I can't get this right. I'm going to say that it's limited edition because I'm only selling this for 30 days. Only selling it for 30 days. So if you want to support your boy, go ahead over to the merch shop. You can scan the QR right there. This is the Research Squad merchandise. It's the Research Squad merchandise. It's only going to be up from 30 days. That 30 days started on this Saturday. So, yeah. Get back to it. But back to the special guest. Back to the special guest. We have Mike from the What's Your Points channel. What is going on, my brother? What is going on?
Hey, Sledge, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine, man. I hear you fine. How you doing today?
Cool. Just making sure there's no feedback because I'm hearing the audio twice, like it's looping back around. And
Okay, you hear it twice on my end?
yeah, like right now I hear you. It's like a 5-second delay or.
Oh man, hold on. Let's turn the mic off for a second. Turn the mic back on. Is it still a delay? I guess so. You don't hear me at all.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Sorry, I was like distracted by hearing myself talking. Like I'm hearing the whole audio is like coming in.
No, wow, yeah, I don't hear it on my end. I hear you loud and clear right when
Okay,
you respond.
I'll just key in on that and we'll be good. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Stoked to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, for the people that don't know you or your channel, can you go ahead and give us a little description of your channel and a little bit about you? Like it's hilarious.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like super distracted hearing like there's like a 10-second delay and it's like coming back and.
You want to go out and come back in?
Yeah, let me try that.
All right, I can keep the crowd entertained
Way
for
to
10
spoil
minutes. At
my
least I
own
hope
introduction.
so. All right, so yeah, we had Key actually had some technical difficulties. Look like Mike had some technical difficulties. So I'm gonna get into basically what we was going to ask Mike to get started today. And don't forget about the merch. And I want you guys to think about this too. If you could change things all over again, how would you start over? This question came from Keith from the Kiki Adventures channel. So I had to put some thought into it myself. Like I had to put some thought into it myself. If I had to change, you know what? Yeah, if I had to change all over again, no matter what I say right now, I probably would start with Chase. Hold on. I shouldn't even say that yet. I wouldn't. I'm giving away my points. I'm about to bring Mike back in. All right, can you hear me good this time?
Yeah,
No
it's fixed. I had a tab, the YouTube tab open, and it was like
okay,
it's a big loop. Caught in a time vortex here. Yeah.
Hey man, listen. Anything goes on these lives, man. Anything can happen when you live.
All right. Now that we've established I'm utterly technically incompetent, how can let's get back to business.
Yeah, let's get back to business. You go ahead and introduce yourself and your channel.
Hey y'all, I'm What's the Points 1. Someone else apparently had just at What's the Points, but they're gone. I don't know. I don't see them, so I'm still the only one out there, I guess. And yeah, I've been doing this for a little while. I've been in the game for a long time, but just the the YouTube game for like a year. And Yeah, there's it's a fun game. It's a complex game, and everyone has their own angle, their own strategies, their own way of thinking about the game. And I'm inspired how we all lift each other up, and we've got a great community, and feel happy to be part of it.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm gonna give a couple shout outs to some people in the chat right now. We got James V in the building. Juan Garcia's in here. My God, they hate me is in the building. Sunny Money say happy Monday, gang. We got oh man, yeah, man. Tomorrow is Uncle Sam Day. Tomorrow is Uncle Sam Day, man. Hey. And I said it. I done said it once. I done said it twice, man. I wait till the last minute. I'm gonna be finished with mine probably about 11:59 tomorrow. I do not want to give these people my money. John R is in the building. My brother from another mother. Bobby Yakuza. My guy. You know what? This is my Japanese brother that's not even Japanese. I say he's my Japanese brother because he's always in Japan. Like this guy's always in Japan. Mike from the One Way Travels channel. Mike said, "What was my favorite spot in Japan?" Man, we went to so many places, man. To be totally honest with you, my favorite places were probably some of the monuments and temples, just on the strength that I was away from a million people. You know what I mean? You got to relax, self-reflect, look at things, and just be away from all the things and the people that were there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we went to, I couldn't tell you the name of them, but my daughter took us to so many temples, So, you've been to Japan, Mike.
Yeah, I went in February.
You went in February. What were some of the favorite places you went to?
So many. Yeah, I was in Tokyo and Kyoto for 4 days apiece, and went to lots of cafes, tried a bunch of food, ramen, and really like parks and transit. So just walked everywhere and learn where the cool parks are to go sightseeing and do a little wildlife and bird watching.
Yeah, getting away from all those people.
Yeah, yeah. Although that was fun too. I mean, I appreciate how Tokyo, like you can have one of the busiest metros, and then a
Yeah,
15-minute walk from there, you'll have the biggest urban park you've ever seen with
right.
temples and like 100-year-old, like multi-100-year-old trees, and so it's they've really figured things out there, and it's inspiring being there for sure.
For sure. One place that I forgot to go to, and there's several of them, the robot hotels, man. I'm like, I was thinking that. I'm like, I'm going to go to one of these hotels that's serviced by all robots. And I totally forgot about it when we were there, though. Did you happen to check one of those out?
I haven't even heard of that. No, it's I didn't even begin to scratch the surface, but I got the itch to go back whenever I can.
Yeah.
February
I
was
have to
cool
go
because
back,
it
and
was
not
it
just for
was
that.
yeah, it was cold, but not as touristy.
Yeah. Yeah. See, these robot hotels, literally, when you come in and check in, there's robots at the front desk. Some of them have robots that take your luggage to your room. There's a little robot in the room. There's literally no people in the hotel. There's
Whoa,
only robots. Yeah.
I got to check that
So,
out.
it sounds fun and creepy at the same time. You know, you got like I said, I already gave a shout out to Juan Garcia. Sunny Money says Amex Platinum and MasterCard Gold. Maybe wait a minute. The new cards you getting? I don't know. I don't know where that. What's that statement from, Sunny Money? This will be the first time you ever experienced this, Mike. We got to do it.
Nice.
Shout out to John, man. Shout out to John for the 2 spot. Appreciate you, brother. I think the co-host is here. Let's see if the technical difficulties is cleared up.
Yeah, what's going on? I'm joining from my
Yay.
phone.
That's all good, man. You
What is
through
wrong?
hook or crook, you got through.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody?
What is
you.
going on? What is going on? Key, you know about the robot hotels, right?
Robot hotels?
Yeah.
No, what's that? What do you mean?
Okay. And I forgot to go to one, but in Japan, I believe it's 4. And the hotels are they're ran by only robots. There's only robots. There's robots that check in. It's like two robots that check in. One of the hotels, the robots are like animals or something at the check-in, but most of them they're like, they're supposed to be more like human. Like they have a robot that take your bags to your room, robots in the room, and you essentially see no people in the robot other than tourists and guests. So I just forgot to go to one.
Okay. Nah, I've never heard of that, honestly. The hotel I'm currently at definitely is not controlled by robots. I see housekeeping all the time. You're doing great here.
Where are you at, Key? What city
I'm
you in today?
I'm not going to say the city, but I'm in your state. How about that?
Okay, that's what's up. That is what's up. I guess this go back to what would people change? Like all I have to change, okay, is not canceling my first student card would have helped a lot. You know what? Yeah. But you know what? That's gonna be gone and past, and it's gonna be like it never happened. You know what I mean? As your credit history grow, it's gonna be like it's gone and never happened. John R said he wouldn't change anything. He had a perfect plan.
I'm jealous.
John had the perfect plan. So, Mike, if you could start over and change anything in your credit journey from the very beginning, would you change anything? And if you would, what would it be?
I would get into the hotel game sooner. I was really late to the party on that one, and I really have this community to thank for it. I mean, I felt like I was an early adopter in this space because I was one of the first few that jumped down the Chase Sapphire Reserve when it first rolled out. And I'm coming more from a frugality, financial independence background is kind of what led me into this world. Like it was a way to travel cheap or free. But the hotel game in particular really showed me that you can get that, you can get your budget stays or even your mid-tier stays. But in the process, you can also get some really cool luxury experiences and not have to change your spending habits. Because I try to keep myself honest in this game, and it's kind of addicting. And but the hotel game, there's it's pretty different. It's got its own logic. The brands have their own kind of thing. The programs, and obviously the cards are all really different between the different programs. Much more so than I think between the airlines. And so I would have got into that much sooner. And maybe not stayed at quite as many Airbnbs, because that's what I used to do. But now they're all too expensive. I mean, that was, my partner and I, we like staying at places that don't feel too like commercial, like we like to feel like a cozy cottage or something like that. It's got its own separate entrance and doesn't feel too much like a stuffy hotel. Right. That was kind of our perception. The reality is that there's every kind of property out there you can imagine. And if you don't like staying at those kinds of properties, you don't have to. There's all kinds of boutiques. One of the places I stayed at in Kyoto was an SLH hotel that I used a Hilton free night certificate at. It was called the Sawaka, and it's in the same neighborhood as the famous Park Hyatt Kyoto. Everyone knows about the Park Hyatt Kyoto. I went and toured there, and it'd be great to stay there. I couldn't find any availability even in February when I was there. But Sawaka, it's not as many people know about it yet. But the experience there was not like any hotel I've ever stayed at. So that's the kind of stuff that's possible when you get into this game, is staying at really interesting and funky places.
That's what's up, man. You know what? I think you're the first person that brought up hotel cars or something you would change. And that's definitely something to think about, man. Like a lot of people don't think about the hotels and the airline cars when they first come in. Believe it or not, my second American Express card was the Hilton Honors card. my second one. Key, if you could change everything, I will not say everything, you could change something from your journey, what would it be? And I know you got time to think about it because this is your question.
It is. So I have so many things, right? I've been doing this for a little over 10 years now in terms of actual credit card churning, and just acquiring credit cards at a ridiculously accelerated pace. The thing that really, really bothers me, actually, I'll name two. number one, when I first started, the Chase 524 rule wasn't around. So meaning I could have gotten as many Chase cards as I'd liked, Chase Fairmont, so many other cards that aren't even around anymore. So do I regret it? Meh, I guess so. I still have all the cards that I want with Chase, even with that 524 rule. But, when rules come in place, you always hindsight, 2020 kind of deal. Yeah. Number two. Yeah. Second thing, and this is the one that I wanted to harp on the most, is before we go back to Mike and talk more about hotels. I love having duplicates of the same credit card, and it's not something that people talk about a lot. So one of the credit cards that I wish I would have implemented this strategy on is the American Express Personal Platinum.
The hotel Wi-Fi just don't like Key. I think we hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's better.
Yo, so weird. So weird. There was a dramatic effect for purposes of this. The American Express Platinum Card, Personal Platinum Card by Ameriprise, because at the time there was no fee for the first year of having that credit card, and you still got all of the perks and benefits of the Personal Platinum Card. Saks credit, Uber. I don't have a Personal Platinum Card anymore, but y'all get the vibe. I should have been getting that card every 90 days until they told me I couldn't have it anymore.
For sure, man. I never knew about that. And you know what? The thing is, I knew about getting duplicate cards on some cards, but until you kind of talked about it a little bit, I never really thought about it. You know what I mean? Like a card that is recommended to a lot of people is always going to be, when people ask about a first card, a lot of people are going to say Discover card, right? Whether you think it's the best starter card or not, a lot of people are going to say it. And the fact that you can get two of them, that's crazy. Like, I never even thought about that. You had two in the very beginning and you maxed out both of them with 100% cash back. That's kind of crazy. And I never thought about it until you brought it to my attention.
Yeah. So those are two of the things that are top of mind. I have hundreds of these things, though. That's why I think it's important. Like, we all have such a different perspective. Like, I'm learning so many things from you all. But things like that, things that you may not think of or just not in your purview, that we can all share with each other. So, yeah.
Well, me, I said over 100 times, I probably would have started. I won't say I would have started with Chase cards, but I would have got some Chase cards earlier on than what I did. I always knew about the Chase 524 rule, one at a time, but it was just like, when I looked at those cards, a lot of those cards, I was just like, I don't see what the hype is about it. Like, I just didn't see the hype about it. And I still don't see the hype around a lot of them. But the thing is, when you locked out of something, it just makes you want it more. You know what I mean? Like, so being locked out of the ecosystem, because for me, it just makes no sense to apply for these cards when I know there's a 99.9% chance that I'm going to get declined. You know what I mean? Like, it is. So that just makes me go harder to get something else on the other side. But you know what that do? That just puts the date further out on when I can apply for them. I would definitely probably have got a couple of, at least a Sapphire Preferred, back in the day, or the Ink Preferred. I would have got either one of those cards, or even the Ink Cash, because I think that's a good card too. But I didn't. I never got them, so I'm locked out. And unless I stop getting cards right now, it's no way for me to get any within probably the next 2 years. So, and the co-host is back one more time. She just want to make a grand presentation.
Oh, it's crazy out here. I cannot get my MacBook audio to work today. I don't know what it is. I'm over it though. I'm done tinkering around. Okay. Why multiples of those cards versus everything else? So you mentioned Chase, but why those specific cards? Any particular reason why, or what your strategy is? Because that's something that can still be applied. So I want to make sure we're covering it.
Right. Now I wasn't saying I would have got multiple of them.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying I would have got them. Right. I would have got those cards because, like I say, at this point, I'm locked out of them, and it's just not many cards that I really even consider getting at this point, because I've had so many cars, and at this point I've probably had essentially all the cars that I want and more than I actually need. So when I go back and look at it, I'm like, okay, I can use these cars to gain more points for whatever reason, you know what I mean, or sign up bonuses or whatever. But when I have no access to it, what do I do at that point? And that's why the upgrade downgrade process with American Express is so important for me, because it's not like I'm getting another card.
Right.
That's
true. Let me ask you this. So going back to wanting to have Chase more, or explore Chase.
Yeah.
If you have one personal and one business credit card that you would get if you could make it
with Chase. I think you went out again.
Yeah, I'm back though. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. The one personal and one business would be. It would have to be if I'm only getting one each. It would have to be the ink preferred and the sapphire preferred. And the reason for that would be to have access to the transfer partners, and that's pretty much it.
So. Okay. None of the co-branded cards. That's interesting that you said both, Ultimate Rewards earning credit cards. So I'm just curious.
Right.
No co-brand, United,
well,
no.
I have the IHG. I have the IHG Business. So I have one co-branded Chase card, and and 100 years ago, when the Amazon Prime card first came out, I had that card. You know what I mean? But I've had that card for so long.
Okay.
But you are on the points. I don't have any.
Okay. All right. Let me go back to Mike then. So, Mike, first of all, thank you for joining us. I'm sorry that I'm late to the podcast, but what I want to ask you, right? You had mentioned hotel credit cards. Similar question that I asked Sledge. If you could go back and maybe revamp your hotel credit card strategy, what would you change? What cards would be in that mix? And I'll include ones that maybe are discontinued too.
Well, the first card I got was the Personal World of Hyatt card. And it's a little funny because I don't think I would generally actually recommend that to most people as their first card. For me, it worked out because I've been playing the Hyatt game a lot the last year or so, and it's actually been a pretty crucial part of that strategy. I was maybe a little bit late getting into Hilton. I think if I had understood and had experience with the power of Aspires, I would have worked on getting multiple Aspires early on, particularly when I wasn't always in pop-up jail. Because now the only way I can get a sub on any personal card is when there's a no lifetime language link circulating that actually works. And just yesterday I tried a couple, and it's like I was watching in the Discord. We got that one channel on that, and you gotta be targeted for it. So the link has to work. It has to like the browser you're using and the location that you're using it from, and then it has to like you. So one of those things didn't line up, but it's probably for the best, because I am stubbornly trying to garden right now. I do need some Chase cards, but yeah. So that would have been, I think, like focusing on maybe just 2 programs. But also I think I would have gotten earlier into IHG, because there have been several trips now that I've been buying a whole bunch of IHG points, and like that's fine. I'm getting good value from it, but I don't love buying points. It seems kind of counterintuitive. Like we're earning all of these points and yet we're still having to buy points. And I've done that with Hilton and IHG now. So I don't know, but yeah, I think I would have got my core set up and like timed it right, like if really understood the lining up the dates so that your free night certificates all post at the same time. Like having these one night stays that I got to book all over the place with different systems. I got my 35K Marriott cert over here. I got my category 1 to 4 Hyatt over there and all these things. And it's, I'm trying to simplify my setup now. I'm kind of to the point where I've grown to the point of saturation with all the different cards that I have, all the different credits I'm tracking. And now I'm like, I was more in the Luke camp, and now I'm more in the Stan camp. I'm like, all right, how do I get this a little simpler?
Okay.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Journey to growth. I love it. I love to just hear the full timeline. Thank you for that, Mike.
Yeah, man. Those, you know what? Those airline cards and hotel cards. When I first came into this game, I thought I'd never get a airline card. I just looked at airline cards and was like, man, these multipliers is trash. You know what I mean? Like on like all of them. So I never even thought I would ever get one. The hotel cards. I was always into the hotel because I'm like, I'm going to be staying at these hotels. You look at if you have gold status or platinum status or whatever, they label their status at these hotel brands. The amount of multipliers that you get when you stay just for staying, if you paid for a stay at these things, is crazy, right? 30 plus 30x and 32x and 26x and whatever. So the hotel cards were always attractive to me, but at the same time, I never thought that I would be into IHG, and I never thought that I would be into American. And if I don't think if I was into the credit card game, I would have ever gave those two ecosystems a chance. And actually, I'm glad that I did, though. You know what I mean? Like, I really am. Key, what are some change that you never thought that you would get into that you have now, because of the credit card game?
Sorry, repeat the beginning part. You said what are some what that I got into?
What are some chains, like hotel chain, airline?
Got you. Preferred Hotels has always been around. They used to be a partner with American Express. I don't think they still are, but they used to be. And you had the ability to book points, and then it was like $50 cash or something like that, and it would code as a real booking, like not a points booking. So I miss that. But I also wouldn't have got into those properties of like $400 or $500 a night. So that's one area that I definitely never would have ventured into on my own. And then like my favorite Marriott brands are like the St. Regis, JW Marriott, and then the Autograph Collection. Again, I love them today because of points. I would never spend my own money on those types of properties. Again, $300, $400, $500+ a night for those. So I'll go even so that's a brand specific. I still would stay at Marriott's, but they would be like Residence Inns or like whatever. Not.
All right. Now my question, I got another question. Backing that up, what do you think about the JW Marriott as a brand? And the reason I asked that is because I stayed at the JW Marriott in Orlando, and I was coming from the Waldorf Astoria. No, yeah, I think I was coming from Waldorf Astoria. So when I went over to the J Marriott, I'm like, I didn't see what the, what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't see what the fuss was about it. But then I didn't stay at this hotel, and I haven't stayed at it, but I went into a JW Marriott, just the lobby in downtown Tampa, and I'm like, man, this hotel is fabulous. You know what I mean? So what do you think of the JW Marriott as a brand?
Like I said, it's one of my favorites. I will go out of my way. Like if I have a 35K certificate, 85K certificate, I'll filter it on the Marriott website to only show me those brands. I don't care if it's not convenient. I really will go out of my way to stay there. The service that you get, the concierge at the front desk actually knows what they're talking about. If you have questions, I've even had them ask like, what time do you expect to be back? Because they'll call the search team on you if you're not back, at the end of the night. So I like that stuff as a solo traveler.
Right.
I have nothing but positive things to say about it.
That's just JW. I'm not as familiar with the Marriotts yet.
I will tell you, when I compare Hilton to Marriott, as far as the customer service and the concierge, even though I'm more of a Hilton person, Marriott beats them hands down. Like they do. They beat them hands down when it comes to the service at the hotel and the concierge. They do.
Yeah. Anytime. So that's what I know we're talking, you asked me about hotels specifically. I would just challenge people, right? As you start getting an exposure into hotel credit cards,
push yourself into going outside of the brands you're comfortable with and or would actually pay for. Maybe like pays for, a certain type of hotel or a certain brand, whatever. I would push your certificates and your points towards stuff that's more aspirational, even if it's the same location, right? You could go to Florida and still ball out at a JW Marriott, for example.
Oh, for sure. That's the one thing about Hilton and Marriott. You can find them everywhere. Like you're gonna find them everywhere. So and even like the Kempton and Intercontinental hotels, they're in a lot of places. Like they are in a lot of places. Now, Mike, I know you said that you're not as familiar with Marriott. What about other hotel chains?
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to work on status with Hyatt, and I've had a few hacks that I've worked on. I don't recommend it for everyone, but I've been really curious to try it. Just to see, all right, is it worth the hype? Because the opinions you see are so polarizing on it. Some people saying it's not really any better than top status with the other chains. Others swearing by it. I'd say I'm somewhere in the middle on that. Like I don't think it's worth the effort that I've been putting in, but it's been kind of a fun exercise because I've really gotten to know the different brands with Hyatt. I do appreciate how easy it is to get good value at all the different tiers with Hyatt. That's sort of the one thing I don't really like about Hilton is how hard it is to get value on your points at mid-tier or low tier, especially in high cost of living areas. Like I'm on the West Coast, so if I want to stay anywhere near me, I'm not using Hilton points ever, and that's kind of annoying.
Yeah. Hilton, at this point, like I said, as much as I love Hilton, they trying to get outrageous with some of these points, per stay for some of these rooms, like maybe last year or 2 years ago, a room that would have cost you 30,000 points is now 50 and above, some of them over 50, and it's just like, come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I'm planning a trip to England later in the year, and I think that's a good test, because I don't know about the rest of Europe, but it seems like at least London, where I'm looking, and maybe Manchester, like there's pretty good representation from the different brands. And I was trying to make Hilton work, but I think I'm going to end up going with a mix of like IHG and Hyatt. I'm really digging the Indigo hotels right now. That's the one that I stayed at in Tokyo. I got a recommendation from another Discord, and I'm really glad that I took that. I know there's some really nice Hyatts. I've seen Sebi do some review on some of the Hyatts in Tokyo. But yeah, I stayed at the Indigo Shibuya, and that's everything you would want from a mid-tier hotel. So that's promising, and I just like the look and feel of them. I saw one in Manchester, UK that looks super cool, and is in a much better like walking around area. I think a lot of the Hyatts, at least the Hyatt brand hotels, seem to be a little bit more towards the business travelers. That's kind of my take. Like even the Hyatt Centrics, it seems like they're just the amenities and the look and the location. Like, yeah, it's centric, but maybe it's more like central to like a business district or like convention center, something like that. I'm looking for like the walkable neighborhoods with the cool cafes and the overpriced coffee. Like that's what I'm looking for.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Man, you know what? I feel the same way when it comes to hotels, man. I want them to be I like for my hotels to be in a location that I can just go outside and find whatever I want to do, Like, not that I'm not going to travel the city, because I am, but if I want to just go out for a minute and grab something, I want it to be in walking distance. I don't have to get in the car and start up, you know what I'm saying, or catch an Uber somewhere where I can just walk over there. So.
Hey, are the two of you going to Puerto Rico in November?
Hold on, there's some feedback on here. I can't really hear you.
Is that my side?
No, I can't hear you. Sledge. That's all Sledge. That's
me?
You can hear me?
I'm going to mute my mic and just let me know.
Is it me? You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh.
All right, I think we're good.
Okay.
All right, we're good now. All right, now what was the question again?
Have you made your? Are y'all going to San Juan, Puerto Rico for the November creator meetup?
Yeah, I am going to be staying in Miami, and I'm taking a helicopter over every day to the meetup. But I'll be there.
Oh my God!
Y'all think I'm kidding? Y'all think I'm kidding? I'm taking a helicopter over every day for 5 days.
The blade helicopter for sure. I feel like I'm going to be there. I started a new job this year, so I've been really focused on that. I definitely have the points to go. Just need to book it. So we'll see. To be determined for me.
Have you booked, Mike?
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at, because I'm like, I've been getting recommendations from our fabulous host there, whose name I'm shamefully forgetting right now. Cesar Joel, yeah. And I'm trying to decide between there's a Hilton, like a boutique Hilton in the Curio Collection in Old Town, which is a little bit further from the meetup.
Yeah.
Or there's a Hyatt house and also a Hyatt place like right next to it that are like right where the meetup is going to happen. And I think that's the perfect example of what I was just talking about. Like there's every reason, like value wise and location wise, I should stay at that Hyatt. But I think I'm actually going to stay in Old Town because it's a more interesting area and it's not that far away.
Right.
So I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. But yeah, just seeing if y'all had any specific hotel plans for San Juan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm staying over in Miami. We'll catch a helicopter over every day, and y'all see me when y'all see me over there. Yeah, I don't know. Key usually stay at an undisclosed location, so she be on the low.
That's so true.
I ain't mad at that either.
I'm still gonna do that.
Hey, I ain't mad at that. Points with Philip say, "Hey friends, I wish I could keep myself from signing up for those mail-in capital."
Yeah, I saw his comment earlier. I'm wondering what he says. He wishes that he hadn't responded to so many of those. I'm assuming that he means that like without a strategy, just kind of signing up for whatever comes in front of him.
Hey.
Like being more strategic with like, okay, if I sign up for this, maybe I can't get that, and what points do I actually need, and I'm planning to use recently, rather than like, oh, what's going to give me the biggest sub. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure too. John got that 175K offer on the American Express Platinum card, so now he has 2 American Express Platinum cards. Shout out to John, big balling over there.
That's the one I tried yesterday. They don't like me.
Yeah, Philip says 2 JWs in Orlando. One is so much better than the other. I must have stayed at the one that was just like, okay. I'm trying to figure out. No, okay, let me take that back. It's not next to the Waldorf. I stayed at the Ritz-Carlton. I stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, and then I went over to the JW from there. So yeah, it's the one next to the Ritz-Carlton. I can't recall where it is, but yeah, I wasn't that impressed with that one. The JW Cancun is nice as. So is the one in Cabo.
Okay.
You were loving the JW here.
Yeah.
JW in DC is absolute sucks. It's an older property and haven't seen. But you know what? That's my problem with a lot of the older properties. Man, they take forever. And I understand you want to keep the aesthetics a certain way, but there's some things you gotta upgrade on. When the wood on the furniture start getting chipped and things like that, and you just leave it like that, it's like, come on, y'all. Come on, man. You expect Waldorfs and Ritz and JWs to have an older look to them because that's the type of hotel they are. But there's still certain other things that you expect out of those brands in general, right? Because if you think about what they're charging a night for those rooms, like, come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
My favorite hotel in Washington, D.C., though, I wouldn't stay at the JW Marriott personally, is the Hotel Kimpton Monaco. So it's an IHG property. It's in the middle of everything. You can walk. There's scooters always out front. I love that place. So
See, that's exactly what Mike was talking about. That's exactly what Mike was talking about. Now, my thing with the Waldorf, if I never went to another Waldorf in my life, I would be fine with it. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's like I like the that I've experienced those hotels, but I like a more modern hotel for me personally. Like I like a more modern hotel, and the old school 1775 hotel, they're cool for the stakes of looking at it, but to stay there, I like the more modern hotel. So what do you guys take on that?
what are some brands that you like that you consider modern hotels?
I think when I think about modern hotels, now think about the Kimpton. It's an older school hotel, right? But it doesn't have an old school look when you go into those hotels. It don't have an old school look. I like staying in curios, tapestries. I like a more modern looking hotel than some of the older hotels. So what like I say, what do you guys think about that?
I generally agree with you. Like, I think I look at properties um, like the Waldorf, and I don't know, like, I feel like I'm paying for the lobby. Like, wow, that's really nice marble on the floor. And I'm like, how is this really enhancing my travel experience?
Right.
They're like being extra super polite. And honestly, it just kind of makes me, and especially my P2, like she feels really uncomfortable because it's I don't know, like it's maybe we're not rich enough to understand. But you know, again, I'll bring up that hotel I mentioned in Kyoto. Staying there, and it's this little boutique hotel with like maybe 12 rooms, and they're super attentive, super friendly, but it feels really genuine. And I feel like with a lot of these luxury brands are kind of caught in that old money type
Right.
of experience. And it's like your
Absolutely.
bed has to be 5 feet off of the floor. And it's like, that's not necessarily going to make it the most comfortable. Now that said, I mean, it is kind of funny. I will say, like, my one pet peeve in like reviewing hotels is like, I don't hear people talk enough about the quality of the mattress and the quality of the sleep that they're getting, because none of this other stuff matters if you don't get a good night's sleep. And I think for those of us who are not accustomed to traveling super frequently, like I'm definitely traveling more as I get into this hobby and content creation, like, all right, I guess I got to get some new experiences. I don't want to just rattle off multipliers. This card has a 25x multiplier, like, trying to keep it fresh, but I got to get some sleep if I'm going to do that. And, some are more consistent than others. And that's not necessarily. Actually, I think with the modern, it seems like maybe you're more likely to get newer stuff. Like maybe they're replacing their mattresses more often. I don't know. Like that could be just my perception,
Right.
but
Right.
that's what I'm
I've
looking
never
for.
heard anyone mention that, and I really like that perspective. There was one specific time that I stayed at I think it was an autograph collection hotel, and I actually reached out to the hotel manager. I was like, "What kind of mattresses are these?" But like, it had never crossed my mind before that. But you're absolutely right. Great, great, great.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know if I had ever had a bad mattress in a hotel, because by the time I get back to the hotel, man, I'm asleep. I'm asleep. So when I get on that bed, it's over for me. So I don't know if I ever had a bad mattress. I probably did. I probably had several of them.
And
All right,
again, a
speaking of,
lot of mattresses aren't bad, but you know when you're sleeping on clouds, like it's just
Yeah,
different. Like,
for sure, for sure. When you in a very nice bed, yeah, you absolutely know it. Let me see.
speaking
What
of
we got here?
sleeping
Look,
in the cloud,
I got to pat myself on the back because I was pushing him to go ahead and get that American Express green card, that 10th Amex card. He said his final Amex card, his final Amex card. So he got the green card. I talked him into getting it. It fits his lifestyle. Why not, right? Okay.
Pay over time limit. I mean, I don't even know what my pay over time limits are.
I don't know what mine is either, honestly.
Okay, interesting
But
concept.
hey, because you look at, I mean, you can look at them and find out whatever it is. Man, look, you're right. YouTube experiment, man. Tell these people, man, hit the freaking like button. Hit the freaking like button, man. Hit the freaking like button. I don't get it.
Here's a question for you.
Okay, look, man, look, everybody
Go
know
ahead.
this.
I can hear you. I don't think he can hear you. But
He doesn't hear me.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
how you
What's your
talking?
question, Mike?
Well, speaking of sleeping in clouds, I know we both flew Japan Airlines, and I wanted to see if you had as much trouble sleeping on the plane back. I don't know if you did an overnight as well. The lesson I learned is I didn't have good enough earplugs, and there was too much noise in the galley, and so it took me way too late to actually fall asleep. But I don't remember if you flew. You didn't get business class though, right? Because you had a big family with. Yeah.
Yeah. We had. I was traveling back with 4 people, man. So yeah, it just wasn't feasible. You know what I mean, for us. But I loaded up so many movies and things on my on Netflix. When I finally did go to sleep, I was asleep. You know what I mean? Like, but I stayed out on a plane. It's hard for me to sleep on a plane. I don't care if I'm going. It don't matter how far I'm going. Like I'm pretty much up most of the time anyway. So I might sleep for a small amount of time. And I've never slept on a plane until recently. Maybe like last year, I never slept on a plane. Like I don't sleep in cars. Never. And I'm gonna tell you a story why I don't sleep when when I'm not in control of things. A long time ago, this is probably 30 years ago or so, something like that. Me and my friends were going to Atlanta from Cleveland, Ohio, right? I worked all day. I worked a 9-hour shift, a 10-hour shift, something like that. Whatever I was working at the time. I used to run this little like clothing store. So we get off, we rented this little SUV. I tell my guy, I'm like, man, you go ahead and drive first. I'm gonna stay up with you, and then the people in the back can sleep. So because I've been up, they can switch over. You know, when you finish your leg of the ride. Man, I closed my eyes. I don't know what I was thinking. I closed my eyes probably like 30 minutes into the drive on the strip that, you know, I've been working all day. We haven't been driving even an hour. I hear gravel kicking up. I wake up, we going off the side of the freaking. I grab the wheel, right? My guy like, man, I'm cool, man, I'm cool. I'm like, bro, you are not cool. I've never been asleep in a car ever again in my life. And that's another reason I don't sleep on a plane. Yeah, it's nothing I can do on a plane. I just can't sleep on them. Yeah, I just can't sleep on them. I did sleep on the way to Japan, you know what I'm saying, after a certain amount of time. But yeah, most of the time I'll sleep for like 10, 15 minutes and I'll right back up. You guys get comfortable and lay down and sleep on these things. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I'm a light sleeper. I'm with you there. I gotta give Chad some props. He's talking about the JW in San Francisco, and that's my city. So I gotta give him some props for calling us out there.
Man, you know what? I've never been to San Francisco, man. I got to get there. Me and my cousin were just talking about that today, like earlier today. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to get out there. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did I take that off? Where's the Kimpton at? That's an also. I must have skipped some of these things. That's an off in Kimpton. We always stay at the Capitol Hilton. That's okay. Oh, okay. Okay, you talking DC.
Yeah, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, DC. Hey, man, listen, I don't think you can go wrong with the Kimpton, man. I'm sorry. I just don't think you can go wrong with them. You can't tell me nothing bad about the Kimpton.
There's a Kimpton here that I want to stay at. It's in Japantown, and it competes with the Hyatt, but the rates at the Kimpton, they look like identical hotels, but it's like $300 a night typically for the, it's called the Kabuki Hotel. It's in Hyatt. But then there's the Kimpton Japantown, which looks identical, and that's always like $200 a night. Looks just as good.
You know what I never stayed in? I never stayed in oh, let me take that back. One time I did, Intercontinental. I've only stayed in one. I know Key pretty big on IHG. What you think about Intercontinental?
Intercontinental? Not. I've only stayed at a couple, and they're all international, so just much different. Rooms are smaller, things like that. So no real vibe. I would say Indigo, Kimptons, Holiday Inns are definitely like my go-tos for sure. They're always where I need them to be. The Intercontinental, it's a bit old school. I know we talked about some of the other properties being old school. It's a bit too old school for me.
Right. I feel the same way. And you know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people in the space, they big on going to these legacy hotels and things like that, because you know what I mean, that's what you hear about. Like you hear about these legacy hotels. But to be totally honest with you, like I've never been that person to fall in with the pack. So I like to do things on my own, and I've experienced those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're okay. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. The service is going to be great in these places and everything, beyond, you know what I'm saying, great. But when I look at a stay, you know what I'm saying? Like when I go in there, I want to plug my USB-C into something. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to. I gotta pull out, break out my plug and plug it up in there, because these places are so old school that we never right. You know what I mean? Like I just need the hotel that I'm staying in to be more modern, and it can still be an excellent hotel with excellent customer service. The Westin that we stayed in Japan is a great example of it. It's a modern hotel, and not only is it a modern hotel, the customer service is beyond excellent. Like the customer service is beyond excellent. So you don't have to stay in one of these legacy hotels to get good customer service. And like I say, if I never stayed in another Waldorf again in my life, I'll be fine with it. You know what I'm saying? I can get the best cent per point value. I'm more likely to go somewhere that's more modern, because that's just the way I like to travel. What we got here? Man, they all that Bonnet Creek, man. Bonnet Creek does have some good hotels. I ain't gonna lie to you. They all good over there. The Grand Wyndham, never been in it. I think the only one I haven't been in is the Grand Wyndham and the Lowe's Hotel. I've never been into either. Oh, let me take that back. In the Four Seasons, because the Four Seasons, I have never caught that hotel at less than $2,000 a night. So yeah, I'm skipping on that one. Yeah. Let's see who we got here. Oh, okay. We already got it there. I think I went backwards. Oh, I had another question from Key. Mike, this question is for you. Is there any places that you visited more than once?
Yeah. Let's see. Off the top of my head, 3 that are kind of recent. There's Amsterdam, Costa Rica, and Portugal. And Amsterdam, I went back because I was there when I was super young and like wanted to go back when, I'll just say when I knew that there was more stuff to do than you would usually do as like a, post college graduate, so a little bit more cultured now, I'd like to think. And Amsterdam is, for those who like cities, it's just such a fantastic place. There's really something for everyone. The Holiday Inn Express, there's a pro tip. Just across the river, that's the best value that I could find. And speaking of like modern and clean and simple and in a cool area, so there's that. Portugal I love because it's kind of similar to California, but in terms of its climate and geography, and it's also very international. And I just really like the culture and the history. And but it doesn't have the crazy population and traffic that you get in California. So it's kind of like how I would imagine California being somewhere that is a little like lower key. And Costa Rica, just because I'm a big nature buff, and you can't beat the eco adventures there. Like I've gone zip lining in the canopy and stayed at like eco lodges in the middle of the jungle that like you got to take a 4x4 for an hour just off the middle of nowhere to get to. And so that always brings me back.
Yeah, that's what's up. Key? Keaton went dark on us.
I feel like you should go next. Because it was my question. It was my question. I'll go last. I'll run this thing out.
It don't matter if it's your question or not. I asked it.
All right, fine. Bully. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely places I've been multiple times. I'm trying to think of the ones top of mind. I've been to Thailand a couple of times. I've been to Singapore a couple of times. I really love Southeast Asia. So anytime I get the chance to visit there more than once, that's always where I'm going to go. But I recently have been thinking like, wow, I have all these points. Like I should start going other places that aren't Southeast Asian experience. So Amsterdam's on my list. Scotland's on my list of places to go and explore. So we'll see, but mostly Southeast Asia.
You know what's funny? Like I'm one of those people. I just don't like going to a place again. And some of those places, when I leave there, I'm like, man, it was so much more I could have saw. And I probably could make an experience out of going again and staying in a different location. So for the most part, I don't go to the same place twice. The only place I can say that I've been to several times is Toronto, Canada. And that's because when I lived in Cleveland, it was drivable. You know what I mean? It was going out of the country, and it was a 5-hour drive, and we could just drive. We could either go to Toronto from where we are. We can get to Niagara Falls, but to be honest with you, after you've seen the falls and a little bit stuff around there, there's nothing really to see, so there's no reason to really go back. Or we would go to Windsor, Canada, because we would go to the casinos in Detroit, and then if you go across the bridge, there's more casinos in Windsor, Canada. You go to Greektown in Detroit, hang out at the casinos as long as you want to, and then when you feel like going across the bridge, you can go across the bridge over into Canada and go to the casinos there. So that's pretty much the only place.
Is that close? It's that close?
From Cleveland to Detroit is 3 hours, right? From Cleveland to Detroit is 3 hours, and then from Detroit, it's literally you go to it's this area called Greektown. That's where the casinos are. So you go to Greektown and you just go over the bridge into Canada, straight from there. Yeah, straight from there. So from Cleveland, it's essentially maybe a 4-hour drive total, and that's after you stop in Detroit. So, but yeah, I used to love some Toronto. When Chad just went there recently, I'm like, yeah, man, that used to be one of my favorite places. You know what happened? SARS came. I don't know if you might be young, you might not remember SARS, but SARS was like the first pandemic type thing, but it didn't shut down the whole world, but it was all over the place. So Canada got it bad. Like Canada got it like super bad. It was like an epidemic in Canada, and we stopped going at that point. We just stopped going at that point, and I don't think I've ever been back to Toronto since then. It was a long time ago. This was probably like in the early 2000s. Yeah, SARS was, it was like, you know what I'm saying? It was like the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? But not as bad. Yeah, not as bad. Let me see. See who we got in here. What questions we got in here? Oh, we got something I ain't seen in a minute. I ain't seen that. There's 2 of them. See, man, look, these people understand, man. Look, they understand. This is the second super chat and the second one that had the statement of no umbrellas, man. Listen, whenever the weather is bad, man, we just go somewhere that it's not. You know what I mean? Like we just go somewhere that it's not. We have the ability to do it, so why not? Like, what are we doing this for? We got Manuel Jimenez in the building. Jose say Bonnet Creek. Think I stayed at the window maybe, and I'm across the street from downtown Disney practically every week. Man, listen, downtown Disney is pretty cool, man. Like downtown Disney is pretty cool. Let me see if I can find the next question. The next question would be, Mike been going out of here, man. Mike got scared of the question, man. Mike got scared of the question. He done bounced on us. You want to answer the questions, or you got up out of here on us. Look, it's 66 people in here. We had like 75 people in here, man. Where is the likes? I ain't even look, but I'm sure we ain't got 75 likes. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure we don't got 75 likes, man. Where is the likes at? All right, let me see. Mike, crafting the most ideal rewards program. Like each of us would say a few things that we want on a card, and how much would you pay for it? So essentially, if you could craft a credit card that fits you, what would you want on that card, and what would you be willing to pay for it?
Great question. Well, I'm going to have to put on my Chase fanboy hat for a minute here. And I say this as someone who's definitely been benefiting from Amex more than Chase in the last little while, have had better subs and all that. But, you know, as long as I keep using United, I keep using Hyatt, and like I'm stuck with United, you know, because I'm in a United hub. And even though we have every airline here and can get anywhere in the world, United still has more than 50% of all flights out of SFO. So every year I got to take at least a few. And so I need some of those United miles. I feel like I'm always a little short. So I probably would double down on that. And I would add some better multipliers. I think that's always everyone's perennial complaint. And yeah, like just having a more solid earning card. And you know, I get that they're trying to tighten down the ink train, and you know, they've been like, I think in general, it seems like they're kind of tightening things up. I wonder if gift cards are going to be next, but in general, I think like, you know, they seem pretty permissive, you know, like I don't, if I want to get a gift card, I'm not going to worry about them clawing back my sub as much as Amex, you know, and, you know, there's no pop-up jail. There's just 524, but at least we know what that is. So I think with some better multipliers, maybe some more transfer bonuses. I think that's one place they really lag Amex. You know, like the airline transfer bonuses are consistently much better with Amex. And, you know, like there was recently a 40% transfer bonus to Virgin Atlantic. Anyone who jumped on that was able to get some great deals. Like that's when I got my flight for later in the year to the UK with that. So more transfer bonuses, better multipliers, and I don't know, like make the credits a little bit more broadly useful. You know, not that Amex is really that much better. I mean, it's just kind of this huge hodgepodge of stuff. It's like we got Saks Fifth Avenue over here, and we got Walmart credits over there, and so, you know, I don't know. I realize everyone's going to like the coupon model now, and I definitely have mixed feelings about that as someone who's like trying to like simplify my setup. You know, I think Citi is getting that right. I really dislike Citibank for a lot of reasons that I won't get into right now, but their earning structure is great. So if Chase could just do what Citi is doing on the earnings side and add some more transfer bonuses, I think that would go a long way. And then I wouldn't have to chase as many subs. Because honestly, at some point, even though I'm kind of addicted to it, like right now, this is the first time that I'm not working on a sub in like 2 years. And I'm already like, you know, damn, where's my next sub? You know, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, let's take a step back. And I'm putting on my like Stan the Credit Frog hat. And I'm like, all right, can I massage my core setup a little bit more here? Or like what's the best thing to do? So I think when you can have a more reliable earning structure. Oh, and make Shop with Chase not junk. Every single time I use Shop with Chase, I got to write into the secure message, hey, I didn't get my points yet on, you know, I bought this thing through Gap or whatever, but like I never had that problem with Rakuten, you know. So and there's no Rakuten for Ultimate Rewards because, you know, they got their own. So make Shop with Chase better. Because yeah, like I'm all about stacking points. The more you can stack your points, the less you have to depend on opening new lines of credit and like cycling through as many cards. Because I don't know, I think that gets a little old, to be honest. And when the better your card and the more you want to keep it as a keeper and not have to like churn it as much, you know, then I think it evens out, right? Because you're not like getting quite as many points by the end of the year, but you're set up simpler because you're not having to close and open as many cards. You're not having to watch your credit report quite as closely. You know, you're not always getting denied for Barclays cards if you ever want to get a Barclays card, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. For me, I don't care about none of that. They can go ahead and deny me for it. I love getting cards. It's just part of the way I am. I just love. It's just something about applying for a new card. Look, the Amex Delta business card that I got, I haven't even put 1 cent on that card because I was like, man, I got 6 months to do this. I got 6 months to do this. So I use that card whenever I use it. I think it's still in the envelope. I'll take it out whenever I take it out. I just like getting cards, man. Like I like getting cards. I like, you know what, simplifying. I thought about simplifying it when I first started. I made an entire video about simplifying my setup. And then I was like, I'm not physically doing it though. I was like, I'm not. But you know what? Next year, Mike, I'm gonna have to use you for counseling. You gonna have to call me every day and be like, "Hey, man, settle down, settle down. You doing too much, Mike. I need you to tell me I'm doing too much, and then I'm gonna settle down and I'm gonna simplify my setup because that's what I originally said that I was gonna do at the beginning of the year, and then I probably got like 6 cars this year. So yeah, I need you to at least hit me up, like just check on me, man, every 2 weeks.
All right,
every 2 weeks, just check on me, be like, hey, man, you ain't applied for a new card, have you?
Credit cards anonymous.
Credit cards anonymous. I need it. But wait a minute, hold on, guys. We got something here. My guy, Tariq, hit us up. Yes, sir. Man, appreciate you, Tariq, man. Appreciate you, for real. Key, perfect credit card. How much would you pay for it?
I don't know how much I'd pay for it without knowing the full parameters of everything, but after I hit 100 credit cards in my lifetime, I would love to find just 1 or maybe 2 credit cards, and that's it.
Have Mike call you. Have Mike call you because Key, you have a problem. Like you have you have a problem. Like we both need Mike in our corner to call us at least every 2 weeks, man. It can't be less than every 2 weeks, Mike.
It's got to be every Monday because 2 Mondays ago, Apple credit card. Last week I applied for a Navy Federal credit limit extension or whatever. So it has to be every Monday.
It's crazy. You know what my problem is that as long as I get approved for a card, I'm fine. If I get denied a card, it's like I gotta apply for 2 cards. I gotta apply for like 2 more cards just to make me feel better for that one denial. So, but yeah, we got man. Somebody said the Amex Business Plat 35% point rebate. Can help with United economy flights.
Big time.
I've done that.
Or when there's flight deals in general, like when a mistake fare happens, anytime. And y'all don't remember, but there used to be a 50% points rebate on that card. I know some of y'all don't remember that. That used to be crazy. Right. I won't go into it. It doesn't exist, but it is what it is.
We got a question. Would you take another inquiry just to get another 100K points from Chase on a card that you don't really need?
Yes, I have a problem. Yes, I absolutely would do that. But I don't go through that many Chase points, so
right.
Depends on how many I have in my balance.
Now we talking about 100K though. They're like,
I don't spend that many Chase points though. So the current balance that I have is like 6 years worth.
I got you. What about you, Mike?
Yes.
no hesitation.
I'm always starved for UR points, and yeah, I've been staying at some pricey Hyatts, churning up those Hyatt points. So
you already know the answer for me, man. Listen, you know what the thing is though. In my mind, I could figure out a reason why I can use the card, because if you think about it, no matter if you have similar multipliers on a card, you can narrow something down to why you could actually use the card, or what purpose the card has for you, especially a card that's going to give you 100K points. Like that card's going to have something in there that you can use somewhere for something. You know what I mean? So I would definitely, I mean, it's 100, we talk about 100K points.
I saw One Way Travels. He said, did anyone see that 5x back last quarter on tax payments? I didn't do that, but I did the insurance. I appreciated how they added that in because I had a big State Farm bill come due. I've noticed in the first quarter, Chase has been adding a lot of like 5x temporary categories across different cards. And so, keeping an eye on those, because there's always ways of earning points outside of subs. I've probably actually earned as many points through like non-sub types of things.
Right.
Like all the different merchant offers and the Rakuten, shopping portals, and like, I've earned over a couple 100,000 AA miles in the last year. None of those from subs.
Right.
So, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, for sure. You know what the thing is? Like I said this a million times, and it may not apply to everybody, but the way I look at things is like I look at people who complain about credit cards, like they complain about certain cards. They're complaining about the credits on this card and the credits on that card. And it's like, you know what? Don't get the card. Because that card obviously don't fit you. If you apply for a credit card and then complain about the card, why did you apply for it? Right? So my thing is, if you can't take advantage of the multipliers or the things you can in order to get point value out of it, you never needed the card. Like you either never needed a card or you couldn't afford the annual fee on the card, which a lot of people don't, and they do it just because they see other people doing it and they feel like it's a popular thing to do. But like Mike is saying, there's a lot of ways you can get points out of credit cards without the sign-up bonus. You know what I mean? So everybody needs to take a step back and look at things from their own personal perspective and what does best for them, and not what Mike does or Key does or what I do. You know what I mean? So I try to bring that side of the game to you too, instead of being like, these are the best 5 cars for everyone out there in the world. Because there's no such thing. You know what I mean? Like there's literally no such thing. I know that was a little bit, but I had to go on for a second. This is what I do when I'm live, Mike. I'm sorry. I had to go back to this question. Rodrigo asks, does staying at the Waldorf Astoria enhance my quality of sleep versus staying at a Motel 6? And you know what's funny is I actually stayed at a Motel 6 one day because I lived in Richmond, Virginia, but I had my flight out of BWI. This is like 3 hours away, right? So as soon as I got in the car, man, I was so sleepy. And it's nighttime. I just pulled over. The only hotel that I seen was the Motel 6, and I went right to that joint. I couldn't tell you how good the sleep was with it because I was passed out as soon as I got in there, and I probably slept for 2 hours. Got up and got back on the road and traveled to the house. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure the Waldorf is probably better, to make a long story short. Credit card crack.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dennis tripping. All right, so Amex Avianca Life Miles card helps with United flights as well. Joshua Ing's in the building. I seen Joshua in a minute.
I don't know what card is that. Amex.
Yeah, let me
I don't know.
I'm going to jump in there. Okay. Now, maybe I haven't. I'm not the expert on this, but I will say that United keeps reducing the award inventory that they open up to their partners again and again. And I say this even though I was able to get to Amsterdam on United Polaris using Avianca miles. So having said that, I will say that especially domestic availability on United with Avianca, at least when I've looked, has been really bad. And so between that and Avianca's recent devaluation, I'm kind of glad I didn't open. I know Luke opened up there's a cardless card. And that's the other thing too. Like, cardless has that like one card rule. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to bother with them. You look at all the trouble that the fintechs are going through, look at what's happening with Bilt, and it's hard enough just to get decent service from Citibank, So I don't know. I think, like be careful with what cards you open. And I don't know. I mean, I think that card, if you're heavy in Avianca, cool. But I think you got to fly Avianca metal, at least a little bit. Now, they have some good routes. If you're going to Central America, South America, sometimes they have the cheapest flights to Costa Rica, because Costa Rica is a small country. And despite its popularity, it's actually hard to find good deals. Not just there, but just Central America in general, because it's not considered like a long haul destination. It's hard to find that outsized value traveling there on any carrier. But sometimes I find really good cash and points rates on Avianca metal, because they connect through their home country is Colombia. But yeah, it used to be the best currency. I'm not sure if it still is for Star Alliance. I'm not sure if that's really the case anymore. Some people swear by Air Canada. I've actually never made an Air Canada redemption, but their change fees are just as bad as Avianca. So I don't know.
Let me see.
Okay. Yeah, Mike with the wisdom. Like that.
I mean, he knew about something I didn't know about. Let's see. All right, Joshua said with another one. Say he applied for the U.S. Bank Altitude Connect and the Amex BCE yesterday. Somehow got approved for USB, but denied for Amex. Wow. Was the Amex a pre-approval though? Like, was the Amex a pre-approval?
Are you over your 5-card limit with Amex? Like, I have so many questions.
That's a possibility too.
Your credit frozen, they'll do a soft pull, but it needs to be unlocked. So maybe that's why you got denied with Amex. There's so many different reasons, even if they're not going to pull your credit again. Lots of.
Yeah. You know what? Lonnie told me that when he applied for his last couple of Amex cards, he had his credit locked. Yeah, they didn't even. In fact, You know what? I think I did too.
Like I said, it depends.
Yeah.
I'm just asking, right? We don't have all
the
information.
No, I understand. I understand.
Potential diagnosis, if you wish. For watching The Pit on HBO Max, so I have all these hospital words in my head.
But mildly surprised. Yeah, I mean, people look at U.S. Bank as one of those banks that's, they can be iffy at times, especially if you don't have a relationship with them. But he said that he has a checking account with U.S. Bank. So
call Recon, see what they say.
Let me see. I'm getting ready to bankrupt all my car, 100K plus. And I hope you're not saying you got 100K on them. I hope I'm reading this wrong.
Yikes. Yeah, I hope I'm reading that wrong too. That's crazy.
Let me see. Wait a minute, I'll skip one. How did I do it? Mike is speaking in Ebonics. He says, ain't nobody use United Miles to fly Star Alliance flights. I don't have any United Miles. I got like 2,000 United Miles. So I definitely have it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. United Miles are best for United Metal for sure.
I have 351 United Miles. So
you got 300. I got 2,000 something. I'm not flying anywhere on them things. So, okay. What are you guys' thoughts on so I had somebody ask me this too. The thoughts on the Robinhood card.
I don't have it. I'll speak on it.
I know Chad Money Minutes loved that card. It was 3% across the board. As long as you have Robinhood Gold, I believe. Yeah, I think it's 3% across the board if you have Robinhood Gold. I mean, and if that's the case, if you already have Robinhood Gold and you're getting 3% across the board, then I mean you can't go wrong with it. but I wouldn't get something in order to get the 3% across the board, unless you're doing some tremendous spending on it.
So this brings up a question. Does anyone know if there's still a product conversion pathway to the Altitude Reserve from any other U.S. bank card?
Let me say it again.
I don't know what's wrong with your audio. I can hear you loud and clear, Mike. Loud and clear.
No, I heard them. It didn't register. Go ahead.
So I remember hearing like shortly after U.S. Bank closed the Altitude Reserve to new applications, I heard about someone being able to product change to it from an Altitude Connect, I think, or something like that. I ask that just because I think it's really helpful to have a hybrid cashback strategy if you're not, you're not aiming to just fly around the world in first class constantly and stay at Waldorf's constantly. You're probably going to get to a point where once you've mastered this game enough, you have too many points to be able to redeem as fast as you can use them without having to go like way out of your way. And so in those moments, it's always good to work in a little bit of cashback because I don't know, there's only so many Capital One miles I can get that I'm actually going to reliably get at least like 2.25% or 2.25 cents per point, right? Because if I can get 4.5% cashback on all mobile wallet purchases with the Altitude Reserve, or let's say the Venture X, I'll get 2 Capital One miles back. But let's be honest, am I really getting an average of 2.25 cents per point? I'm probably not.
Right.
Maybe some people are. And if that's not you, then you should have something, whatever it is, to get a little bit of cash back in there. And I don't know why this is controversial in this space. Everyone wants to be team travel or team cashback. And I'm like, I'm team maximum value. And I think in math, and I'm thinking there's only so many points I can use. I'm always wanting to get more points. Don't get me wrong. But I also need to inject a little bit of cash in there just because I know my travels are going to end up being more expensive than I planned, no matter how many points I got anyway.
Bro.
Yeah, so I recently product changed I had 2 Altitude Reserve credit cards, and I product changed one of them. And part of their disclosure, you know how they go through 1,000 different things, was that you can't product change back. I didn't tell you. I could have called back and tried it out, but that was
all right
that they read off. But so I don't know how valid that is. Maybe I'll try.
Well, maybe now that Smartly's tanked, maybe it'll come back.
Yeah. We'll see about that. I think they just go change the Smartly. I just feel like if they cancel the Smartly, that they will look so bad. Like it just hasn't been around long enough for them to cancel it. If they do, they're gonna have to at least keep it around for a year or something. Because it's just gonna look so bad. I don't know. That was a terrible thing right there. First of all, for them to kind of nerf it a little bit. And the second thing is, if they canceled it, it's gonna look so bad on them. All right. Now Rodrigo asks, are you gonna keep the AA executive card for another year?
Well, I'm holding out to see if Alaska comes out with a mid-tier card. For me, it only makes sense for me because I have so many Alaska flights from here and not quite as many AA. Like this is not a big hub for AA. So for me, I need to know that I can fly both airlines. So if a better card, everyone's waiting for this mid-tier card that's going to come out on Alaska. I don't necessarily need a club card. It just sort of works out that the lounge card, the top tier card for AA just happens to have these features that are pretty unique. Both Sledge and I have covered that in our respective videos. Like it has some pretty unique earning potential that I think is unmatched by any other co-branded travel card, or at least co-branded airline card. So that's cool. But yeah, it's a really expensive card. If you're not going to Admirals clubs or Alaska lounges or other One World lounges, it's a little tough to justify unless you're booking a lot of those 10x hotels. I don't do the car rentals as much because I feel like it's easier to get discounts through car rentals through other ways, and you're often paying a premium when you book through a portal. But hotels, I have. I think the hotel portal game in general has gotten better, especially if you like staying at boutique hotels and you don't mind losing out on elite benefits. But yeah, I think it's more flexible to get the 10x booking through the Chase travel portal with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, or with the Venture X, you get 10x. So that's probably a better bet, I think, for most people. So yeah, anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying I don't know yet. But
you know what solidified it for me? What solidified me keeping that card was when I went to Centurion Lounge when my flight was delayed just the other day, or well, a couple of weeks ago. My flight was delayed, and they were like inside the Centurion Lounge. They're like, you might go to the AA Lounge. They might stay open because your flight was delayed. And I went over to the American Airlines Lounge, and they stayed open until 11:30 when they closed at 10 o'clock.
wow,
You know what I mean? Because the flight was delayed. That just solidified it for me, you know. So yeah, I'm more than likely, like you never can say what's gonna happen, but more than likely I'm keeping the card open. You know what I mean? Like that really just solidified it for me. And another thing is I'm just one of those people. I don't like going out of my way to go find a lounge. You know what I mean? Like I want to go to the lounge, but I don't want to go out of my way to find it. Right. So if the Centurion Lounge is way over there somewhere and the AA Lounge is right by my gate, I'm not going to walk past that AA Lounge to go to the Centurion Lounge. So, and since I'm starting to fly out of AA more, fly with American more, I just think that card, even it is a hefty price tag. Like it's a hefty price tag on that card. But I'm also somebody who have paid to stay in lounges because at this point in my life, I just don't want to be out there. You know what I'm saying? And American Airlines lounges, for the most part that I've been in, even when they're busy, they're not as busy as some of the Sky Clubs or the Centurion lounges. I don't have to walk around and look for a seat somewhere. I can just identify a seat and sit down, you know what I mean, for me and 3 to 4 people. So yeah, I definitely think that I'm going to keep the AA card going forward. I know Key doesn't have that card, but what airline card that do you say that you're keeping long term? I won't say long term because anything can always change. But right now, in the immediate future, which one do you think you'll keep?
Right now, Delta, without a doubt. I have the Delta Business Platinum credit card. That's one that I'll keep, and I keep debating if I want to upgrade or get a new reserve credit card as well. So I go back and forth about it. Maybe I'll just get a personal.
2 reserves? 2 reserves?
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. You know what? I got the personal platinum, and I still have I have it set up to where I'm going to use the freaking companion certificate, but I still haven't used it yet. Like I just haven't found. Well, I thought I didn't find the right time to use it, but I have found it. I'm probably gonna use it for my wife's birthday to fly her out somewhere for a weekend, and hopefully she don't watch this video or she ain't watching it right now. So yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna use the companion certificate for. But then it's hard to pass up that companion certificate. It's hard to beat it. Like it is. It's just hard to beat it because let's face it, man, the flights nowadays are freaking ridiculous to go to some of these places, man. Like you can get good value on something, but when you think about, because I pay cash for stuff sometimes, right? So when you paying cash for some of these flights, the price on them, just compared to maybe 2 years ago, are freaking ridiculous now on some of these things. So yeah, that companion certificate is definitely gonna come in handy.
Hey, speaking of which, I think they just covered this on Frequent Miler last week, but so Alaska has their companion pass. And I think they are planning to add the ability to use it on partners. Correct me if I'm wrong, if someone knows otherwise, but I remember hearing that. And that would be huge because then if you like the Alaska program, you'd never even have to fly Alaska to get the full benefits from their program, including their much easier to use companion certificate. Easier than Delta anyway.
Let me tell you something. If that happened, I'll be so grateful, man, because I also have that companion certificate. I also have that companion certificate. And we got to, let me see here. What do you think about this? Joshua said U.S. banks should take the L on a smartly, in his opinion. It would look bad for them, but they already dug their grave, and it's only going to get deeper. Meanwhile, the U.S. Bank After Reserve was actually doing pretty well. I just don't think they're going to do it. Like, I just don't think they're going to do it. Because if they would have did it. Like, I just don't think they're going to do it. They're just going to change the terms on the customer, and the customer just going to have to deal with it. We got, what time is it? We about to run down, y'all. It's 8:38. We done been on here for an hour and a half. I'm going to run through these comments real quick. Events Yours is in the building. If y'all not subscribed to Events Yours channel, go check their channel out and hit that subscribe button. And man, I've been on here this live for so long without saying it. Man, if you're not subscribed to What's the Points channel, what are you doing with your life? Your other left key, what are you doing with your life? Go ahead and subscribe to my boy Mike's channel, man. Go ahead and subscribe right now to the What's Your Points YouTube channel. And we got another one, y'all. It's for the homies. That's what I'm talking about. Let me see. We got Mike says, would you go into a priority pass loan if it was next to your gate, or go to the next terminal and TSA to get to an Amex? I'm going straight past that priority pass lounge and going to, unless I'm out of the country. If I'm in the US, man, I'm not going to that priority pass lounge. I'm just not doing it. What do y'all think about that?
Depends on the airport, but yeah, generally I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, if I got time, I don't know. I hate going through security, so I don't know if I would risk that.
Right. But the most of the time, you don't got to go to security, go to another terminal.
You used to an SFO until pretty like a few months ago. There was So not every airport is connected, like all the terminals connected.
I've never been in SFO. Never.
It's nice.
Never been in. I heard it was though. I heard it was a really nice airport. They got everything there. Key, would you do it? Would you pass them to go to, or would you just go to Priority Pass Lounge?
Priority Pass, call it a day. Easy.
Priority Pass, yeah.
Unless there's a long line, then I might change my mind, or a wait list or something like that.
Events Yours says she had the AA card, but it doesn't get into the lounge. The AA, oh yeah, definitely a Delta Hood for sure. They are definitely a Delta Hub for sure. And Events Yours, your boy has been back from Japan I've been back from Japan like almost 2 weeks now. One, we'll have to make a plan to meet up, blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. Oh, man, we almost done. We almost to the end. Okay, Rodrigo said, if I was 524, which car? Oh, man, that's easy. I go for the Ink Preferred. I go straight to the Ink Preferred. If you guys had no chase cars at all, and excluding co-branded cards, which cars would you go for? Key, go ahead.
I think I would go the Ink Cash is my card that I would go for.
I said that was a good card going earlier. I also said that was a good card earlier. Mike?
You mean other than Ink Preferred?
No. You can
absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, Ink Preferred is arguably the best card that they issue. Yeah. And it's so good that it makes the Sapphire Preferred like redundant. There's no reason to have that card.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the sub. That first year you get your sub and then product change. But yeah.
Yeah. I feel the same about that. I would definitely go with Ink Preferred. But as I said earlier, I think Key, you was having technical difficulties. If I had to get 3 chase cards, it would be the Sapphire Preferred if it was a personal card. If it was business, it would be the Ink Preferred or the Ink Cash, like hands down. Like the Ink Unlimited, and I could skip on that. And what's the one that don't earn it in UR points?
Oh, the Premier.
Yeah, I'm like,
I accidentally applied for, but got lucky and was able to transfer my points. That one, yeah.
And the last thing, Mike from One Way Travel says, in JFK, you got to go through security too. But you know, it's funny. Every time I've ever flown into New York, I always flew into LaGuardia. So I've never actually been in JFK. Yeah, I've never been in JFK. I either flew into Newark or flew into LaGuardia. So, but man, look, it's 8:42, y'all. It's 8:42, man. We about to wrap this up. Key, you got any final words for us?
One of the highlights of my week, kicking it off with, just chopping it up with y'all. And Mike, so glad to have you. I don't think we've really talked that much, but excited to use this as our initial launch point here.
Mike, what you got for us?
Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Sledge. Yeah, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for having me on. And thanks to everyone who's watched. Make sure you smash that like button. And yeah, my channel is at What's the Points 1, the number 1. Make sure you put that in there, otherwise you won't find me. But I'm assuming you've already linked that on the description, right? Like
I haven't, but I'm gonna put it.
Okay, right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a new and growing channel, and looking for requests. So, if you watch my stuff and you think, hey, I really want to hear about this topic or that topic, like, let me know. And trying to have this be a collaborative process. Appreciate being part of this community, and looking forward to our next live. This was a blast. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate both of your dedication to the craft. Every time I watch your videos, I think, yeah, these folks are on it. Always learning something new every time I watch y'all.
Man, that's what's up, man. Before I say my goodbyes, man, I gotta say, I got the Research Squad merch. It is only up for 30 days. And that 30-day ticker started on Saturday, the Saturday that just passed. So you only got 30 days to grab it. Go ahead and hit that QR code, or you can always go to the SledgeInc Team merch store and pick that up. Yeah, man, it was fun. As always, it's always a fun when I have my co-host Key here. It was great to have you here, Mike. And like I always say, man, listen, if they've been here for 5 minutes, 15, 30 minutes, or the entire time, we appreciate you staying here with us.